OxyMBBS. One-step solution for all medical studies.
Hi friends, in this video we will talk about the formation of bone in a fetus. Remember friends, in a fetus it means during fetal life, and this process of bone formation is called ossification. And bone is formed mainly by two methods. One is endochondral ossification and second one is intramembranous ossification. And these are the steps which are involved during endochondral ossification. And these steps are: first, there is formation of cartilage model, then its growth, then development of primary ossification center, then development of medullary cavity. After primary ossification center, now secondary ossification center start to develop, and in the last, formation of growth or epiphyseal plate. Okay, but my dear friends, before going further in this video, it's my request to you, if you have not watched videos on bone till now, then please watch these videos, that is from part 1st to part 6, then surely you will gain 100% from this video. Now let's suppose if we want to form the bone of the arm region, that is humerus bone, then following steps are involved to form this bone completely. So first, the cells called mesenchymal cells present in the arm region undergo rapid multiplication, and after this, these mesenchymal cells come close together and they are arranged in such a way they forms this shape, and this shape is similar to humerus bone. Now the mesenchymal cells which are present in this structure undergo differentiation and forms chondroblast cells. So here are these chondroblast cells, and these chondroblast cells start to secrete extracellular matrix all around itself, and this matrix is called cartilage. And this cartilage is which cartilage? It is hyaline cartilage. Remember it friends, okay? So these green lines are extracellular matrix, that is called cartilage, and this whole structure is covered by this layer called perichondrium. As you know, chondro means, the word chondro is used for cartilage, and peri word is used for something which is present on the periphery side. Periphery means outside. That is why this layer is called perichondrium, and this structure at this stage is called cartilage model. And as within this cartilage model, first ossification center will develop, and then after, this whole cartilage model will be converted into this bone. That is why such type of bone formation is called endo. Endo means within, and within what? Chondro. Chondro means within cartilage. Endochondral ossification. So in the first step, we have formed this cartilage model from these mesenchymal cells, and now let's discuss how this cartilage will grow further. As these chondroblast cells secretes extracellular matrix all around itself, because of this, at a certain point, these chondroblast cells will get buried within its secretion. And now these deeply buried chondroblast cells are called chondrocytes. As you can see in this picture, these are chondrocytes, and this is extracellular matrix, that is cartilage. Friends, this is the cross section of this cartilage model, and this is the perichondrium as this one, and this is the inner part of this cartilage model. And this perichondrium has two layers, one outer, one inner. Outer layer is made up of dense irregular connective tissue, and also this outer layer has these fibroblast cells. That is why, because of this composition, this outer layer is called fibrous layer. As in the inner layer, only cells are present, and these are mesenchymal cells. That is why this inner layer is called cellular layer, and this inner part is having chondrocytes and this extracellular matrix, that is cartilage. Now friends, we will discuss how this cartilage model grows in its length. As you all know, inner part of this cartilage model has chondrocytes, and extracellular matrix. Now, for increasing the length of this cartilage model, these chondrocytes undergo rapid multiplication and chondrocytes multiply in both directions. Let's suppose these are the chondrocytes which forms this new layer of chondrocytes after rapid multiplication, and as these chondrocytes are rapidly multiplying, that is why they produces this new layer, and this old layer is pushed by these newly formed cells. That is why these old cells comes at this position. So at initial stage the length was only this much, and now the length is increased this much. As this length is increasing because of the inner part of the cartilage model, that is why such growth is called endogenous or also called interstitial growth. So length is increased by in or n. In means interstitial growth or N means endogenous growth. So friends, this is how the cartilage model grows in length, by endogenous or interstitial growth. After length, now we will discuss how this cartilage model grows in thickness or width, and for it the cartilage model has to grow in this direction. Now as you all know, the inner layer of perichondrium has mesenchymal cells, and now these mesenchymal cells will get differentiated into chondroblast cells. So here are these chondroblast cells, and now these chondroblast cells start to secrete extracellular matrix in the periphery. As the new cartilage deposits in the periphery, then this new one cartilage push this old one cartilage in this direction, and because of this the cartilage model increase in its thickness. As these chondroblast cells are present in the periphery, that is why growth in the cartilage model because of these cells will be called as exogenous growth, and this periphery will remind you this exogenous growth is also called appositional growth. So width or thickness of the cartilage model increased because of this exogenous or appositional growth. But if we talk about the length, then it is because of interstitial or my dear friends, or opposite of exogenous is what? Endogenous, my dear friends. So interstitial or endogenous growth. Now in the mid region of this cartilage model, these chondrocytes get enlarged, and this process is called hypertrophy. So these are enlarged chondrocytes, and around these enlarged chondrocytes calcium salts are deposited, and this process is called calcification. As calcium salts are hard substances, that is why nutritive substances cannot be passed from this hard substance. That is why slowly these enlarged chondrocytes start to die. So these are dying chondrocytes, and at a place where these chondrocytes are died, they leave a small vacant space, and when these vacant spaces join together, then they form a large vacant space, and that space is called lacuna. So these are what? Lacuna. Now from the outside, in the mid region, a canal is formed, and this canal is called nutrient foramen, and the nutrient foramen is present up to the middle of the cartilage model, as you can see here. And this nutrient foramen is made for a purpose. And what is that purpose? Let's see. So through this nutrient foramen, nutrient artery enters. So this is nutrient artery, which goes up to the mid region of the cartilage model, and then it gives branches in the middle part where small degree of ossification taken place. And as soon as this nutrient artery enters, then these mesenchymal cells present in the perichondrium forms these osteoblast cells, and now this outer layer is called periosteum. It means perichondrium is converted into periosteum, Now these osteoblast cells start to secrete extracellular matrix. As this extracellular matrix is formed in the periphery by these peripheral osteoblast cells, and this extracellular matrix is mainly contains collagen fibers. As the blood has calcium, phosphorus and also water, that is why from these inorganic substances a high amount of solid salts of calcium and phosphorus are formed, and these solid salts are called hydroxylapatite, and these hydroxylapatite start to deposit in between the collagen fibers. As hydroxylapatite are solid as well as they are very hard, that is why first peripheral part of this mid region undergo heavy calcification, then this calcification proceeds towards inward from the periphery. Complete mid region is now ossified, and this is now called primary ossification center, because first time in the cartilage complete bone tissue is formed, and as this bony tissue is present in the central part, that is why it is called primary ossification center. Primary ossification center proceeds from external surface towards inward, and this is very important. And how will you remember it? It is very simple, friends. Now from the primary, just take this number 1 here and write number 1 in words. So it is O-N-E. So this O will remind you that start from the outside and go towards interior. So don't write primary like this. Write primary in this numerical value. Then after you will reach at this word, that is O-N-E, 1. As primary ossification center and secondary ossification center are opposite to each other. That is why if you will remember primary, then automatically you will remember secondary ossification center. As a secondary ossification center proceeds from in to out. So this number 1 in the primary will remind you all these things, okay? So this primary ossification center grows towards both ends, as you can see in this picture. This is growing primary ossification center towards both ends, and first time the bony tissue which is formed is spongy bony tissue. That is why this bone will have trabeculae, and now the osteoclast cells which are present in the bone will start to break down newly formed trabeculae. Because of this, a cavity is formed in the central region, as you can see in this picture, and this cavity is called medullary cavity. So as the new bony tissue is formed in this region, these osteoclast cells break down this newly formed trabeculae. In this way, medullary cavity length increases, and before the birth of the baby, like nutrient artery in the mid region, now epiphyseal artery enters towards these both ends. As you can see in this picture, these are the epiphyseal vessels, and because of this, similar to primary ossification center, secondary ossification center develops towards both ends. It means one ossification center at this end and one ossification center at this end. It means two secondary ossification center are developed, and similar to primary ossification center, these secondary ossification center also develop and form bony tissue. But the difference is that secondary ossification proceeds from in to out, while primary from out to in. Bony tissue which is formed by the secondary ossification center remains always spongy bony tissue, while through the primary ossification center, first bony tissue which is formed is spongy bony tissue, but later on this spongy bony tissue is converted into compact bone tissue. It means spongy bony tissue because of primary ossification center is temporary, while it is permanent by the secondary ossification center. So this is how the secondary ossification center grows. One at this end, that is this one, and one at this end, and this is medullary cavity, and this is compact bone tissue, and this is periosteum, this is nutrient foramen, and this portion of bone which is having medullary cavity is called diaphysis, and these ends are called epiphyses. One epiphysis at this end and one at this end. And this periosteum is present throughout the bone except the ends of the bone where articular cartilage is present. And this articular cartilage is which cartilage? It is hyaline cartilage. As you can see in this picture that uppermost part of the bone is not ossified by the secondary ossification center, and this unossified part forms this hyaline cartilage. As you can see in this picture that this small part has this one part which is present in between the epiphyses and diaphyses is not ossified. As you know, this part contains chondrocytes with extracellular matrix that is called hyaline cartilage. It means this part contains hyaline cartilage with chondrocytes is called epiphyseal or growth plate. As it looks like plate, that is why it is called epiphyseal or growth plate. And because of this growth or epiphyseal plate, the length of the baby increases till the adult, that is at around 20 to 25 years of age. And in the next video we will discuss how this growth plate is responsible for increase in the length of this baby, and also we will discuss intramembranous ossification and many more.